All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we do have with us the Relic 1974. Welcome, Relic, and thank you.
No, thank you, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. You're here, and we're doing good. And I know you've got a couple guests that are you're going to pull in from your side. You want to announce them and pull them in, and then tell everybody that doesn't know about you guys and what you're doing and what you have been doing. Start off with that, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Is there any way we can pull Tim and Mike in?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not. Let me see if they are on my contact list. I do have one request of. I'm not sure if that is who this is, but I'm going to add him to the contacts anyway.
Probably, and most likely, probably is.
202 is back with us. 202, if you could turn the player off, please, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's me, Kev. Just Tim.
Oh, hey, good, okay, that's great.
Yeah,
awesome.
I had to turn the player off. I'm streaming this on Ustream, so I just listen and monitor on your show site there, so I got it off now.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Thanks for streaming us over there, too, and that's awesome, you know. And I know you guys are going to be doing some shows over there coming up, so we'll be working, folks. If you like what you hear today and enjoy these guys' research, we'll work out with them and probably stream some of their stuff when we don't have a booked live show, rather than doing the Republic broadcast, who I like, you know what I mean? But, I mean, if that's an entity, and these guys are real human beings just like us, so if I can take some of that time and rebroadcast what they're saying, that's what we're going to do. We want to wake you up, too, along with, you know, the site is a combination of things. But anyway, enough about me. Gentlemen, thank you for coming today. What the hell is going on with our sun and Earth?
Hey, did we get Mike in yet? Did Mike come in?
I tried to add him a few times.
Did you share contact with him, Relic? If you right-click his profile.
Kev, I'll bring him in over on mine if he's still here.
Okay.
There it is.
And 202, welcome to the call. Oh, 202, yeah, I'm sorry. I saw a box fly up, and I'm thinking I got another caller. Never mind. Yeah, I told you guys I was up all night.
How much sleep did you have?
Sorry?
I said, how much sleep have you had?
Well, I got like 5 hours, but I was, that's after like, 36 hours awake or something. You know, it's weird. I'm not on a 24-hour schedule. I am for a week out of the month, and it's been getting progressively worse over the last 4 years. Something has changed, and I know it. Nobody can convince me otherwise. You're not going to convince me that I got to run to the Ozarks. But I'm not. Something isn't right. But I'm hoping you're going to explain it. That's the...
Kevin, we were kind of having the same, call it a precognitive feeling the other night. You know, I felt something wasn't right. So, I go to all the research links and stuff, and lo and behold, there's like a surprise geomagnetic storm. And then what I'd maybe like to touch on is what is going on with this weird magnetopause. What looked like some people are calling it a reversal. I don't like to use that term because it implies a pole shift. What it looks like happened was on March 12th at about 1600 UTC. We were in the middle of a solar flare and a geomagnetic storm, and there was back pressure. Anybody who's looked at the magnetosphere during a storm, when you see the solar wind interact with the magnetosphere, you see that shield, that sheath on the side of the Earth facing the sun. Well, for about 20-30 minutes there, it was flipping out. The shield was going on the back side, the night side of the Earth, as if we were getting hit from behind. So several of us have been, ever since that event, we've been trying to nail down what may have caused that. I've only got 4 things that I could think of, 4 possibilities. That
Well,
would be.
can I add to that just quickly for the guy that's sitting out there right now that says, well, why does that matter? Well, the fact that NASA removed the information proving it a little while later, that's, I think, to me, what matters even more. You know, right? They removed that data, right? We saw that, and that's why I'm especially grateful you guys are here, because obviously something's going on. And I just say that for more or less for the people that like to deny everything. If you know, the people that provide you the information suddenly don't, there's a reason. What's that reason? And it's probably the same reason that what you just described happened, and they don't want you to know that, obviously. So what does that mean?
Well, we were debating this last night. Now, a lot of the raw data is still available. Now, we were thinking of this from the people at the top at NASA, the elites. We were thinking from their perspective. How many ordinary people would understand the raw data, the math, and the numbers? Not many, correct? So
right.
If you just pull down the images and remove those, you know, images that people can look at and understand, that doesn't look too suspicious. You can blame that on a glitch or a server being down. But you know, if you dig, you can find the raw data. As a matter of fact, I've put together a huge archive of 5 days worth of research, and I've got it up on our site for download. Anybody that wants to, you know, go look at that data. And but you know, the stuff that only the scientific community would really be able to decipher is still there. Now, you got to think, from their point of view, it would look very, very suspicious to the scientific community if that data was to disappear, correct?
You would think.
But do you see my point? It seems like when you think about it, they can get away with scrubbing some of the data that's just visual, you know, simple graphs that are easy for the average person and the layman to understand. You know, you can look at it and say, okay, this is red. Red means bad, and you know, orange means getting bad, and I can see the shield, and I get the idea. You can pull those images down and make them no longer available, and blame it on a glitch, blame it on the website being down, blame it on solar activity damaging satellites. But you know, if you was to pull all of the data down, all of the raw data, the scientific community would be screaming. And we have yet to hear any plausible explanation for what happened. And what happened on the 12th is something that nobody on YouTube that I have seen so far has ever seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, obviously, you know, I've only started looking into this stuff within the last year after Fukushima, really, so I can't say, but I know that what I saw tells me something funny's going on, and what I feel in my life cycle, I'll call it, there's something going on. There needs to be an explanation, and the people that, you know, are supposed to be supplying these facts are not. And now there's some excuse. You can blame it on whatever you want, but you're not going to piss on my head and tell me it's raining and convince me of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they expect that there's too many people out here, you know, who aren't degreed, who don't hold doctrines in these sorts of subjects. I don't think they expect too many of us to go out and research. Well, guess what, guys? We do.
Right.
Some of us out here are aware and do understand these things. And
now, let me ask you something. Is there somebody at NASA or otherwise that you could call and they would be willing to take the time to explain it to the average person if you were respectful and asked them a question when you called? Is there? I haven't interacted with them. Is there somebody you can call who will, you know, give you a fair answer? An explanation?
I would have to do some deep digging. And
I mean, do they avoid it, though? The question is, do they avoid it like the plague?
I would imagine they would probably just give you a half-assed excuse and blow you off.
Well, if you want to throw that on your to-do list and see if there is a number and a time that someone reasonably should be available, we can go ahead, and I know that it would be unreasonable to call that person right now, probably.
Right.
Even if we had the number, because it's a weekend, right? So it's like a business. But I'll offer that, and I'll advertise it and say that we're going to, and we will. And if they, just hang up on us, then we'll know a lot, won't we? If they stay on the line and lie to us, and we'll let them know it's going to be a live audience. But they need to answer the questions. If people have questions, something's going on. And if they're going to spew a bunch of non-scientific bullshit, we at least have the means to find out whether their science is good or not.
Well, I can tell you this. Over 5 days of research, I have contacted a few university astrophysicists via email who study these things, and I'm just awaiting for their replies. I know they're busy with their research, and I did email them on a Friday evening, so I don't really expect a quick reply, but hopefully I'll hear back from some of those accredited scientists at these universities, and they were from Berkeley, from Stanford, and from Yale.
Now, will you guys be using, is it Livestream you're using or Ustream?
Ustream.
Ustream. So if they get together with you, and are you going to air that on Ustream?
We would love to, and actually I'd probably like to let Timothy talk more about that. I'm just kind of like the tech guy and researcher, and Tim does a great job with all the producing, and that's his baby right there. So I'll let him maybe touch on that if you want to, Tim.
Yeah, sure, Alec. Thanks. That's a good point, Kev, about contacting NASA. A lot of people talk about different people saying this and that. I don't know if anybody's actually contacted NASA directly yet. I've been in favor of that for a long time.
Well,
I'm sure there's somebody we can contact.
Do you have when you do your live streams, Mike? Because you're handling that, and if these scientists and otherwise will get back to you, do you have? Are you set up with a call-in number for that live stream show?
Oh, absolutely. I got multiple numbers that they can call in to, and
that's awesome.
We
Good.
We can conference in anybody, anytime.
I would love to rebroadcast that when you line that up.
I'm putting a show on Ustream right now. Live streams are totally different.
Or Ustream, rather. I'm sorry.
Right,
right. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, this is Ustream.com. There is a live stream out there that people use, but we like Ustream. I like their servers and their uptime and quality is quite well, so we use this quite a bit. But as far as NASA goes, I think we could contact somebody down there. I think if we presented our case and who we are and what we're all about and done it in a professional manner, I think we'd probably have no problem at all. Excuse me.
Well, then, we should, and if the station can assist in that in any way, we will. I mean, this is your baby, so I'm not trying to steal your thunder because you guys know what you're talking about. But I'm just throwing the idea out there. And if you say, yeah, let's run with that, we can put it together. Whether we do it, I don't want to take away from your Ustream is what I'm saying. I don't think I have to explain this to you, Mike or Relic. You guys know, and that's why you're even here, because we in other chats, we can talk about stuff. I don't need to know a lot, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've already talked about this with you, about all of us getting together, because in a group situation like this, we're more power and we're more knowledge, and we can get it together on every media that we do here. Your show, our show, all over the place. Get this stuff out, because there's definitely something going on strange out there.
And I just, for anyone new here that hasn't interacted with Relic and Mike and Timothy before, if you want to find them on Pal Talk, look on the homepage of the website, bottom left, you'll see the Planet X banner. Click that, go over, check out their website. That'll give you all the information, links, YouTubes, the Pal Talk, all that. Make sure you interact with these guys if you want to know what's going on in space, more than just a show, because this isn't a one-time event here, man. Something's coming, and it's going to be a series of events. And anyway, Mike, tell me about what you're doing and how you're seeing stuff right now.
Mike, you still with us? He said he was having...
Yeah, I'm having some problems here. I've got a bad thunderstorm moving in, guys, so I may have to bug out all the way. I don't know.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, and if if internet happens to go, Mike, you can either call in or we can call you if that stands up better than the Skype for you. Sometimes that's a way around too. So
maybe we could touch on kind of our reasoning behind starting this network.
Well, Relic, please go ahead. You guys, I'm just going to step away for 1 minute. I do have to use the restroom, and I know that coffee is done. Fresh perk coffee, Relic. I don't do the drip. No, that's not perked coffee. So I'm going to go get a cup of that, lay it down for these guys, and then I'll be right back with you in moments.
Yeah, Mike and Tim, y'all can chime in anytime you want to.
Okay, I just stepped away for a second, Relic. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know if you mentioned the website. It's planetxresearch.com or planetxresearch.org. That's the website we got up, so if anybody needs any additional information on that, they can go right to them websites. And there's a ton of information on them websites that's very useful. Relic's done a remarkable job on them. There's a lot of useful software and stuff that you can use to find out what's going on out there for the layman. And if anybody needs any explanation, there's a billion of us out here that can explain what that's all about, too. So just like to plug Relic. You're doing a great job on that website.
No, I appreciate it, Tim.
We'd also like to thank Kevin, too. Man. Yeah, I know it is, man. You've done a good job. We'd like to thank Kevin, too, in this great show. We listen to Kevin's show quite a bit there, and he's been a big help for us. And we're just trying to help you, too, out, Kev, by getting some of our people over your way, too.
And Mike's quite a contributor, too. He's been in the Planet X chat room for quite some time, probably since the beginning. And
oh, exactly. Is Mike here with us now?
He brings a lot of insight to the group. Mike is our survivalist expert over there, pretty much, but he has a lot of keen insight on geopolitical stuff too. Just his own perspective. And one of the reasons we wanted to make this network is, a lot of the radio shows that are on air today, you get a lot of radio talk show pundits, people, a lot of these celebrity scientists and celebrity mouthpieces, but you don't hear from the average person that often, and that's who.
That's right.
That's who we want to hear from, and that's who we want to reach out to. So we wanted to kind of make the Truth Seekers Research Network like an open forum for anybody that wants to participate. To call in, to participate, to step up.
Right, to learn like we're learning, to be part of this big learning experience, because there's a lot of us out here that are new to this, and we need to have it explained to us. And there's people that can explain it to us.
And what's going on? There's so many things going on around us. No one person. It's larger than any one of us. And there's so many things to research, and everybody has so many different perspectives that, we don't need to hear it from a celebrity or a talk show pundit. We just felt that there needed to be a platform for the common man.
That's right.
And that's pretty much what our network is striving to be about.
That's right. The mainstream media out there, they have a lot of agendas. And it's pretty obvious when you get to listen to some of them shows out there. They have an agenda, so they try taking their audience a specific way. We try being broad spectrum when it comes to everything, and get everybody involved in doing the research and finding out things, because there's a lot of disinformation out there, a whole lot of disinformation, and it's scaring the daylights out of people. And we're just trying to find the truth. What is the truth? What is really going on? And we're trying to ask the hard questions that people just want answered.
Yeah, and that is our only agenda. If you'll notice, we self-support ourselves out of our own pockets. We don't ask for any donations. You won't find any. There is a little bit of a joke on the website on the contact page. There's a PayPal button, but if you go to try to click it, it disappears and it says "just kidding." So no, we don't want your money. We just want your.
That's one of your Easter eggs, isn't it, Relic?
Yeah, a little Easter egg. My little joke to the world. So my sick sense of humor, I guess.
Yeah. Something that like Kevin was talking about, and when we first started the show here, there's some really strange things happening out here. I live up in the state of Michigan, and we're like having record heat up here right now. This has been an abnormal winter. We're having very early spring, and I'd kind of like to know if this is being caused by the sun, which I personally think it is. So if that's the fact, then that takes us right back to what's going on with the sun. So that's what we're diving into now, is to try to figure out what all this weird stuff is going on with the sun right now. Is it just that sunspot cycle that happens every 11 years, or is it truly something else that's going on? What do you think?
Or is it the sixth age? Mike, out in your part of the country where you live, I'm sure you could really tell us about some strange weather stories out there, because I know you guys are getting hit pretty hard, correct?
Yeah, I've got thunderstorms been rolling over me all day, and we've had a real mild winter, maybe 3 inches snow total for the whole winter. Last winter we had one snowstorm that gave us 36 inches at one time, so. Yeah, wow. Things really been going on, and we're trying to figure it out. And like you was talking about there in our research group, if we do ask of anybody to do anything, it's help us do research. We try to get everybody involved in the research. That's our main concern right there. Try to open up everybody's eyes to what's trying to figure out what is going on. That's our main biggest concern there, and try to get the word out to people to find out what is going on, if we can at all. It seems like every time we try to find something out, a door gets slammed in our face, just like all of the data being removed from what happened this last week.
Yeah,
March 12th.
That seems a bit odd. Plus, in the news right now, everybody's probably heard about the tornado up here in Michigan just the other day. There was an F2, probably bordering F3 tornado that struck just west of me, that took out about 100 houses, tore them up pretty bad, and it completely destroyed about 13 or 14 houses. That's a very rare occurrence up in this area this time of the year. I know we're approaching tornado season, but that normally comes in April, toward April and May. So there's just weird things happening up here. I watched some tornado form on my radar that I have here at the studio, and it was very, very strange. Normally our storms in springtime come out of the southwest. These storms actually came out of the northwest, moving to the southeast, which is pretty rare. I've been taking a look at the jet stream and stuff and trying to find some kind of correlation between the jet stream and what's going on with the weather. And everything just seems like it's totally reversed this year for some strange reason, which leads me back to the sun again. So here we go full circle back to the sun. What's going on with the sun? Back to you, Relic, or Mike.
Mike, if you want to chime in, you can. If not, then I'll go ahead and maybe elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm pulling up a radar right now, guys, because I hear this thunder just keeps rolling back here, and I know which way the storms has been traveling all morning, and it's going to be coming across me here before long. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I know we had bad, severe thunderstorms and hail this morning, so with all the tornadoes that's been hitting across the country, I don't want to be asleep when one of them does come across here. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I did hear the mainstream media, they were predicting, they usually can't predict the weather accurately beyond 1 or 2 days. And just 2 days ago, I heard CNN say that they mentioned solar activity and to expect severe tornadoes over the next 7 days. That's a pretty bold statement for a weatherman to make. And, what Tim was saying, Tim knows a lot about the weather. And I live in North Carolina, Now we usually, even though I'm in the South, we usually have a pretty bitter winter, and right now it should still be down in the 40s and below freezing at night. In fact, I can't remember one Easter where you didn't need a sweater and a coat, on Sunday morning. All fall and winter, I have kept an eye on the jet stream, and maybe Tim can touch on this and maybe give some clues as to why it's doing this. But the jet stream has seemed like it has stalled. It seems like the cold Arctic air is going up through Washington State, it's staying up through Canada, and it barely dips down through the northeastern states. So we've been getting all this warm Gulf air all fall and all winter.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What's happening now is the jet stream, if you look at it, you got a trough out to the west out in California coming down out of Washington State, kind of coming down through Colorado in that area, and then it starts headed back to the northeast. And a jet stream, for anybody that don't know what the jet stream is, it's high velocity winds up in the atmosphere. Usually the jet stream's highest winds are up around 30,000 feet. They can vary between 20 and 40,000 feet, but typically the strongest winds hang out about 30,000 feet, which a jet stream steers all the storms that are formed, pulling that Gulf moisture up out of the Gulf of Mexico, and they ride up that jet stream like a train track. So these storms actually just track behind one another coming up that jet stream, and that's what's happening right now. And that trough out there in the west seems to be staying out there a little bit longer. Usually in the summertime, the jet stream flattens out from a west to east pattern. So I'm kind of keeping a real hard eye on that to see within the next month or two if she's going to flatten out or not. If it don't, expect a lot more bad storms. But that was an interesting statement you made, Relic, about CNN reporting something to do with the sun and weather. I'm kind of wondering where they got the sun information from. Where did they hear that, and where did that come from? Sometimes people say things, and other people don't quite catch it. But when you said something about the sun, your ears kind of perk up. It's like, okay, what's going on with the sun? What's the correlation there? You know what I mean?
Well, you've got a better understanding of the atmosphere and the layers of the atmosphere than I do. I'm more into deep space astronomy and stuff like that. But and I've been studying the sun for quite a while. Now, during these solar storms, when I look at the ionic convection from the top, looking down at the North Pole, it kind of makes me think of a conventional oven. Do you think that the solar activity could be affecting the high and low pressure systems and causing, the way the ionic convection is during these solar storms? Do you think that could be causing the stall in the jet stream that we're witnessing?
Well, the Earth's atmosphere is very dynamic. Like you and I was talking about once before, the sun's radiation does heat our atmosphere, obviously, but it heats it unevenly at different points. So you might get a little bubble here in one area and a little bubble here in another area. So it does affect the atmosphere all the time through through radiational heating like that. So that does play a big effect on the weather. But what I'm thinking, if the sun is throwing off more energy than typical, then it is going to heat up the atmosphere more in spots, which cause these big bubbles to form, and it does cause the jet stream to kind of go around the bubble per se, because warm air rises, so you're going to have this flow of warm air going up into the atmosphere, and it's going to cause the jet stream to kind of shift erratically in different places. So that could be one big reason why we're seeing this stuff happening right now, because we're seeing all this activity on the sun. So now we're starting to see the effects on the Earth with all this radiational heating like that. So who knows? When it comes to the sun, I'm not an expert, but down below here, I know the atmosphere quite well and how she works. And like you said, I've been studying weather for a long time, so I understand the dynamics of it pretty much. And I just watch it. I watch it very, very carefully and just try to forecast it myself, figure out what's going on.
Well, you have to. I mean, with your occupation, right? And the sun is the driving factor of our weather, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very, very large part of our weather system, obviously, because of the heating. And then at nighttime, we have what they call radiational cooling, where the Earth cools off. So you got that dynamic happening there. You got cool air descending, you got warm air ascending. So you get this up and down motion all the time. And when you get warm air ascending, and when you add moisture to it, moisture is like gas to the fire. That's when the thunderstorms fire up. So in essence, you got the jet stream coming up from the southwest, pulling Gulf Stream moisture up. You got the heating, you got the thunderstorms. And if the jet stream's strong enough with the high altitude winds, you'll get wind shear between the cold air mass and the warm air mass. You get wind shear means that you have opposing wind. So you might have winds at the ground level coming out of the northwest. Up at the jet stream level, you got winds coming out of the south, or southwest, or southeast. So you get this shearing effect happening. And when you get shearing wind effect happening, you get rotation. When you get rotation, you get big thunderstorm development and tornadoes.
And then you got to consider, too, that during a solar event, I mean, our atmosphere is literally being compressed. I mean, as if you take a balloon and squeeze on it, correct? I mean, so things like that would push.
Yeah, I don't really know about that. I mean, you can look at the atmosphere as a balloon. You heat it up, it's going to expand, like a balloon would, obviously. You heat the air inside, it's going to expand. When you cool it off, it's going to contract. So I'm sure all of that's happening on the planet at any given time. But there's so many dynamics in weather, it's really hard to tell what's going to happen in any given place at any given time. I mean, we have some idea of it now with our technology. But forecasting still is an art where the accuracy is pretty good, maybe 1, 2, or 3 days out. But once you get past that, then it's kind of 50-50 call. I mean, your dog could probably guess what the weather is going to be a week from now compared to a weatherman. I mean, that's how much you're kind of guessing at that point. You can kind of guess, but then you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, Tim, I'd like to inject here something. All my research I've been doing, I've been looking at a lot of the ocean currents. Now, that plays a big effect in our weather patterns here on Earth, too. And I've been watching the chat room, too. They also wanted me to let everybody know that come in and do the research to not listen to the mainstream media. Don't listen to all that spoon-fed garbage. Do your own research and be sure to come out with your own conclusion, because what we see on a day-to-day basis on the mainstream media is what the elite want us to see. They want you to stay asleep. They don't want you to wake up and realize that there is things going on our planet that it's hard to explain. And it all works in conjunction with one another. This planet is one giant machine, and when something gets out of kilter, it causes other things to go wrong and just affects everything altogether.
Oh, that's exactly right, Mike. Everything's in balance. When something gets out of balance, something else is going to happen to balance it out. That's what I believe. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at the Earth. The Earth always wants to stay in balance. Its normal state is a state of balance. Just like when people talk about earthquakes and the tectonic plates and all that stuff, I'm not going to get deep into that, but the plates have a balance to them. Our atmosphere has a balance to it. Hopefully our sun has some kind of a balance to it. We're trying to learn what's going on with the sun as far as the balance. We know the sunspot cycles. I'm a ham radio operator, so I know about the 11-year cycles and how it affects our E layer and the F layer of our ionosphere as far as acting like a huge mirror for radio transmission. So I kind of understand all that stuff too. But what I really want to know is what Relic has been researching as far as what's going on with the sun. There's a lot of people out here doing a tremendous amount of research about the sun, what's going on. So we're trying to put everything together with the sun, the earth, whatever's going on. Other people do it, they do it psychically. They do it according to astrology, the stars. There's so many ways of coming up with answers to this, and we're just trying to coalesce everything, get it together, and try to figure out what's really going on. And speaking of weather, just a little interjection here. If anybody out here listening that enjoys looking at weather, you can pull up real good maps. There's a map called Wonder Map with a U, WUNDER, MAP, Wonder Map. You can pull up some real good weather and radar data on that if anybody's interested. And if you want to look at any aviation weather sites, you can go to ADDS.com or Google ads, ADDS, and that gives you a wealth of information too. So I want to kind of throw that out there for anybody that's interested in watching what's going on with our weather here. Go ahead, Relic. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee.
Hey, Mike, can I throw one thing in there before we get away from it? Just as you were talking, it kind of crept up. Now, what you're saying, the Earth maintains balance. One thing changes, something offsets it, so it maintains balance. But that is on a limited thinking level of like the Earth being on an axis and pivot. Is it possible that it's still going to be on that axis and pivot, but have a change that would actually travel it to a different part of the universe as well? Because without balance, tops and other things travel to the left or to the right or to the front and to the back while they're spinning on that axis. So if that were the case, if something offset on the Earth, and now that has just shifted a little bit in some way, still spinning in the realm that we thought it always was, but not quite, is it going to start moving to the left or to the right in the galaxy? That's what I'm seeing, and I don't know because I never get into space. Growing up, I'm thinking we haven't taken care of what's on the Earth. I got no business looking out in space, but that's my job to do. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that somebody shouldn't be, and that's why I rely on you guys that look into space, because that wasn't my job to do here. It's like if your car breaks down and I'm the carpenter, it means nothing to me, and I'm not the one that should be fixing it for you. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, but is that possible? Are we moving us and the sun and the things that we know as a contained object, let's say, in farther to the left, right, forward, back of the universe, up, down? I don't know. And is that changing us in the effects on the Earth? Because it's a different part of space.
Relic can answer that more about that. I've done some research on the galactic plane. They say we're moving through the galactic plane. That's something I haven't really got into. Relic would be more ample to answer that.
It's like almost like a gyro. I mean, I'm picturing it as almost like one of those, what are they, gyroscopes, where you have many pivot points, right? And it all stays within one spot.
Right. You get a gyroscope that'll
what
stay
if
in a spot.
What if you add another pivot to that? If that is the Earth and everything we know, that gyroscope, and I add one more pivot to that, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Right.
What if that's
if you push on that, it will move to a different position. You have precession on that too, where you'll get this little other little circle happening too with the precession of the gyroscope.
And that's what I'm saying. Is there another circle that everything we know is moving in that isn't quite perfectly round, where it would affect all these things that we're seeing?
My opinion, Kevin, I'm of the belief that everything affects everything, from the extremely large to the subatomic level. You can take the analogy that you may have heard before of like a butterfly flapping its wings could, down the road, result in a hurricane. And,
right.
That's true. I mean, it could start with something as small as that, and one tiny little event can totally change the outcome. I would even go as far to say, Kevin, that even our own thoughts could affect things that happen on the other side of the universe. I mean, that's totally plausible.
Well, right, because a thought is a form of energy, right?
Right.
And so it's moving. And, right. Yeah, no, I can see it. I can't explain it, and I can't prove it, but I can see it, and they manipulate
it's very hard to wrap your head around, but somewhere inside you know it to be true.
A lot of these things, I think they're so simple that we can't understand them. It's like the dog whistle, right?
Right.
Same idea, okay? We can't hear it. Does it mean it's not making any sound? So you know what I mean? It's the same. It's on the same level, and some people can't think like that. But to me, again, they can't think like that because it's too simple for them to perceive. Common sense. A lot of this, everybody's looking for a scientific fact. Why do you need what? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Everybody's making it complicated when they should be thinking simple on simple terms.
We're a part of this, and when something changes within it, I think there's a majority of us that know something has changed. We can't define it. We can't write it in words. We can't give it a math equation. We can't give it a color. But it did. Right? Yep. It does.
Well, that touches on the whole concept of human perspective. I mean, look how limited our senses are. Look at the very limited range of spectrum that we can hear, that we can see. Just for 1 second, think about all of the satellite, ham radio, digital analog transmissions on every frequency, everything that the galaxies and stars are throwing at us, the sun's throwing at us, all the stuff that we cannot see. How does that affect us and everything around us?
That's exactly right. We have streams of electrons moving at every angle you can ever imagine by just RF transmission. Then you add in all the radiation from the sun and everything coming at us from different angles. You're talking about a lot of mass moving around at any given time. So how's that going to affect us? You know, that's a really good question.
Yeah, and I mean, we even have, people may not realize, you have gamma rays going straight through your body all the time, cosmic rays that strike the Earth, and they're so small and they're moving at such a velocity that, I mean, they pass right through you, and this has even been shown to cause mutations in human and animal DNA. So, I mean, it goes a lot deeper than people realize. It's just, you know, we have a very limited perception of the world around us.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you know what, I think we were supposed to, because that's knowledge, right? And with the knowledge that we have now, as smart as we think we are, we've just decided to destroy our planet. I mean, really, we've polluted. We're all this stuff, right? I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's a fact. I remember this song. I grew up born in the '70s. Grew up a simple country family. We had an 8-track player in the car, right? The 8-track tape players. You remember that, Mike or Tim?
Of course I do.
Oh yeah.
And Relic, I know you probably do too. 70, you know. So, C.W. McCall's "There Won't Be No Country Music," and the whole damn world is going to be made of styrene. That was in the '70s, mid-'70s, right? Late '70s.
Yeah.
That came out.
Exactly.
I mean, and I'm not saying he's a prophet, but look around you. Listen to that song, and that's happening now. We've destroyed it. I mean, that's common sense too. You know what I mean?
Well, we're destroying it with our waste, but someday, if our waste just takes over, it's going to destroy us, and the Earth is still going to be here. It's just
I think that's a factor in all this.
It's going to be in some other form. You know, it's just we're expendable. People are so naive to think that we're not expendable. This Earth can take us out at any given moment. The space can take us out at any given moment. So you know, if we keep on the track that we're on as far as pollution and stuff goes, someday we're just going to pollute ourselves out of existence. I mean, that's a lot of pollution, but it's plausible, and it could happen.
And I had made a documentary a few weeks back, and, you know, I think that's one of the messages that the Mayans were trying to tell us. I think that's part of the message of 2012, among other things. I think, I'm not trying to really promote myself, but I would invite people to maybe, you know, check that video out and, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You know, I provide a lot of fact and inject a little bit of opinion, but it may give you a different look at what maybe, perhaps, the Mayans might have been trying to tell us. And, you know, this comes back around to the sun. It comes, like Tim said, we always keep coming back full circle to the sun. Why is solar cycle 24 so much more violent than past cycles? What is so special about it?
Hey, Relic, I'm going to go get the link for that documentary you made. What's the title of it again, so I can pop a link to that in the chat room? I'm on your video page here now on YouTube.
There's two versions. One's, I would suggest the HD version. It's called The Galactic Day.
Okay. Let me
the HD version, the low-res version had audio problems, so I re-rendered the whole video and improved the audio and video quality. So if you go on that channel, you'll see two links. You know, if you want the best quality one, I would get the one that's labeled HD.
Okay, the first one I came to doesn't have a label of HD, so I'm going to keep scrolling down and see if it's okay. Neither one of them give me... You know, this is these YouTube changes, okay? You know? So anyway, I'm going to go with the first one, and I'll open up that page.
It's also linked up on our site, and all those links, the weather and aviation links that Tim mentioned earlier. We have all these solar, weather, aviation, survival, NASA, spacecraft, alternative news. All these links up on our website.
Yeah, we got a ton of information on the website there. I'd just like to say something about Relic's video there. It kind of set me back in my chair because I never even thought about the way he explained it on that video, kind of promoting his video here. But when he showed that to me, it's like I've never thought about that before. So I watched the video, and it really did set me back in my chair to thinking about a whole different perspective on what's really going on. And I thought it was very brilliantly done on his part, because
you gotta, you know, to be a reasonable person, you have to think about everything, even from the angles that you automatically don't agree with, because otherwise you can't be sure. I mean, like Relic said, it goes back to everything interacts with everything, and we can't comprehend the full extent of that. And so you have to even, you know, if you get one point of view. Well, all your supplies are in a cave in the Ozarks right now. If you look at things from one point of view, that's where you end up. Things like that. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I don't want to
touch on that too much.
Yeah, don't put me in a cave, please. Don't put me in a cave.
Yeah, no, and that's not what the show is about. I just had her to be a wise ass, you know, because you're in a bad spot. In other words, you're in a bad spot if you're looking at it from that one point of view. Because everything does affect everything, I'm finding out, you know.
Right. What I could say about that is our schooling, how we was brought up. We was taught one specific way for the most part. We wasn't really taught critical thinking skills for the most part. We're taught by a syllabus that the schools teach us in one certain way about history and biology and chemistry and whatever, science and stuff like that. So we've been used to thinking this way for so long. And now that we have the advent of the computer, and we're meeting people that have the same idea and same likes as we do. Now we're starting to ask questions about, you know, what's really going on out here. Now we got one of the most powerful tools mankind ever had, and it's called a computer. So now we're getting all this information. We're on information overload now. So now we really don't know what to believe, because we're hearing a lot of the right hand side conspiracy stuff. Then we're hearing the over technical. True stuff that people are claiming it's true, and then everything in between, the gray areas. So what are we to believe? So now it's up to us. Now it's up to us to get together and come up with our own consensus amongst us that are searching for answers.
Yeah, and use reason without prejudice to other opinion. Absolutely, and that's why this falls right in, Timothy, with one of the things that I want to see here at the station, and has started. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because until humans can sit together and talk about all the things that are without any racism, when you know all this shit.
Exactly.
It's all shit. You know, it is. We got to.
Drop the racist stuff. Drop the argument, fighting all this stuff. Have a good common sense, good debate on subjects. It's good to have a heated debate, but you know what? Walk away at the end of the day, friends, and get back to it the next day. And by the way, Kevin, it's coming up on 4 o'clock. Can you take a break at the top?
We can. I was just going to throw that out there, and I know you had just mentioned questions, so I know we do want to open up the lines, remind people that they can call in for questions. Now, Do you guys want a musical break for bathroom, grab coffee, or do you want to keep rolling?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. Yeah, take a couple minute break. We'll get up and stretch our leg. And
this one, actually, I'm sorry, I quoted the wrong time. Occupy is 2 minutes and 32. Is that enough, or do you want a full 5.5 or so minutes?
Yeah, go with 5, and then we just stretch, and then come back. Maybe we can take some calls or something like that. Whatever you want to do.
Right. Now, I just wanted to reiterate before you do go to a break that anybody listening, I want everybody to feel very welcome to call in. All opinions are welcome, and that's the reason we started this network. We want to hear the other side.
Exactly.
And your opinions will be respected. So, whenever Kevin does come back on, don't be shy and don't be in fear of being shot down by bringing your point of view to the table, because we encourage it, and that's how our platform differs from a lot of other radio networks out there.
And I'll stand behind that statement, folks, because that's why I interacted with these guys so well, because they do handle it like that, and they have one goal, and there's no other motives there at all, and they're really working hard. So I stand behind that. I second that opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving us the platform and the venue here to put us on for a while too, Kev. Appreciate it, man. You got a great station, and we'll take a break. You're listening to Human Being Broadcasting, and you're listening to PlanetXResearch.com.org. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stand by.
All right, we are back live. Sorry, folks, for that feedback circulating around at the beginning of the break there, but I believe we have Relic back with us, and Timothy Paul is here again with us, and I believe Mike will be calling back in. Evidently, it may have been the phone connection that was causing that mayhem a few moments ago. Hope the sound is good. I know the music is, and I hope it came across that way into the chat room, because that's some good stuff right there.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Yeah, these guys are great. They were on, and you should have been here for that show. Their moms, their cousins, their supporters were calling in. It just, two great guys. If you saw their video, which I believe Justin put in the chat room, which was awesome. Thank you, Justin. They work well together. The ears tell me the music is good, they work good together, and then to see their family support, it's no wonder they're doing well, I mean, as far as now they have their needs, obviously, but they're just, happy, productive, got goals, helping people through their art. It's awesome. And I appreciate you guys.
It was great music, and I used to do a little bit of producing myself, and I'll tell you what, whoever produced those tracks did an excellent job.
I don't want to misquote the name, but I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys are in our chat room, but I think, let me check on something here. If Dogcat is in the chat room, she isn't right now, but M-Spray is in the chat room, and M-Spray1 can remind us of who their producer is, because yes, you're right. The whole team, the guys behind the scenes, guys and gals behind the scene, working hard together. That was awesome to have them on the first show. And then last week for the Occupy Radio, it's awesome for the site, because the Occupy movement, in essence, it's human beings from the planet Earth, right? It's when you break it down in its simplest form, it's every walk of life is getting reached by this, and so that's exactly what we are. So what better place to have Occupy Radio?
Are you sure it's human beings?
Well, I mean, other than the few that, like Obama, that have been created in a test tube and put there to distract good things, yeah. There's another one. I just got to, give him a shot in the left jaw every chance I get, but anyway.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, Kevin, we just caught wind of this new executive order that was signed last night. Do you know anything about that? Because it sounds, from what I read, the jargon seems pretty ominous.
Is it the one my buddy just said when I went to get coffee? He said we erased the border between us and Canada. Is that The one you're talking about? Because I don't know. I haven't done any research. There was an executive order last night. Doesn't surprise me. What did we lose, or what are we in jeopardy of now?
Malik, you got that resolution number, or the name of it? You got the name. It's under a name.
Yeah. Let's see. Executive Order, National Defense Resources Preparedness Act, signed in the middle of the night last night. Now, from what I read, it basically gives the president full control over every resource and everybody on every inch of U.S. soil in the event of a national emergency. Sounds like a dictatorship, if you ask me.
Well, it is. We have been, okay, this is the mainstream point of view. This is how I'm interpreting it. They want everybody to believe that the American people are trying to overthrow the government. I say our government was already overthrown by a terrorist organization. I'm not completely sure when, but it's time that we Americans, the continental United States of America, need to take that back. I don't put any other definition on it than that, but it is a terrorist organization. When you blatantly tell the public that there's nothing to fear, you should not prepare, but yet there is something that has come into their environment that will kill them over time. You are a terrorist organization. It's no different than the supposed this one or that one having insurgents go shoot people with bullets. We're being killed by radiation right now that we could protect ourselves from. And the leader of the country told you don't even prepare for that. And I could go on, but this isn't an Obama rant. But that's the fact of the matter. And that's a terrorist organization. And the last person to define that got shot, JFK, rest in peace. Excuse me, you know what I'm saying? So that's my stand on it. And now we've got his face on the American flag. Oh no.
I haven't seen that yet, Kevin.
Oh, good Lord! I was ranting about it yesterday. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's out there.
The scumbag website that's selling it should be made not to sell it. It was flying in Florida. I even emailed the veterans that discovered this last night and see if we can get them on a show, because this is a slap in their face. It violates our laws and ways, and it's a slap in their face to have those stars that they defended, those states represented that they defended, taken off our flag and his face put in its place. He doesn't earn that right. He's not God. We don't even put God's face or what we assume that it is on that flag. Those stars represent those people that died for him. And again, I was so pissed off because it was the veterans that saw it and were offended by it. Now that means that once again, those veterans had to defend our flag. They should not have had to do that. They've already done that once.
That's exactly
right. It's time for me and you and them to do it. And I started this petition. I got some rebuttal. Petition. If you believe the laws are against the people, then what good is a petition going to do? The petition is going to draw us all together on this idea to agree. What we do next is totally up to us, whoever that is. But I'm saying,
this petition.
What's that?
Where can we find this petition?
Oh, I'll get it to you. I'll put it in the Skype and I'll put it in the chat room. If anybody is listening in through Winamp and it doesn't happen to be in the chat room, or if you're listening on TalkStream Live, yeah, thank you, TalkStream Live. We're over there. We're on Stream Finder. But anyway, it's on my YouTube, Master of Many Things 1. But I will get Relic the direct petition, because, again, it's not about getting the YouTube views. I want to be clear about that. It is on YouTube, a video, my explanation why, but the video isn't there to get your view. The video is there to give you the petition, because we got to stop this. It's just a general petition. And I also want to take action. I went after I put this video that holds that petition link up to make sure the YouTubers got it and all that and spread it around. I did another video because I think we need to go beyond that petition. Like within an hour of doing it, I said we also need to find the website that's selling these disgusting things, and we need to call them, we need to fax them, we need to email them, and we need to demand that they take that off their list. If they're an honorable American not hell-bent on making money at the sacrifice of our flag, then this won't be an issue. Okay, they made a mistake. They'll rectify it, and the issue is done. But if not...
I could almost guarantee you that flag's being made overseas.
Well, that's it. Well, you know what? That flag should not be allowed to be sold in the United States, and if the Chinese want to have Obama's face on their flag, then let him go rule their country. Get the hell out of mine.
Amen.
That's it.
I dropped that link into the chat. I got 2 chat rooms open
Awesome.
that are kind of listening in, and I dropped that link, and I'll make sure that ends up on somewhere on our website, Kevin.
And somebody else said, Anon 8478 in our chat room, don't fret, the flag thing will die on its own, don't you think? Yes, Anon, I do, and I'm going to ensure that it does. Because I'm saying, and everybody else that joins with my idea is saying, you will take that down, or before the next sunrise, it will be down. I'm not saying I'm going to climb up there and take it down. I'm just saying it won't exist. I'm going to poof it away, okay? I'm going to imagine it gone. How's that? It will be gone. Mark my words.
You know, Kev, that's...
Let me find one of those sons of bitches, in other words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that remark that was just made, it's like, don't worry about it, it'll go away. You know, that's kind of what happened in this country. We're kind of complacent. We're just thinking, oh, well, it'll go away, it'll go away. You know, don't worry about it, it'll go away. No, folks, it's time for us to make it go away. It's time for us to make it go away.
Yeah, and they have, that's fine if they you know, they're right. It will go away. Will they help in that effort or not? I'm not sure, because I don't know who the hell they are. They might.
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know. But yeah, no, I'm going to do something about it. Whatever I can.
Same here.
And
you know what disturbs me a little bit, Kevin, is as things seem to start be heating up, and I'm seeing this in the chat rooms. I'm seeing some people that maybe they just don't want to face the facts, but I see some people who were awake that I'm getting the impression, and I'm afraid that some of them are kind of going back to sleep.
Well,
maybe
they are.
Because they don't want to face the truth, but...
well, also they get spun out, Relic. What I've noticed, and this doesn't point fingers at anybody, but the people... Okay, we have these schools of thought that are fighting causes. I want to say this very carefully so that nobody thinks it's a personal attack, because it's not. I suck at times, and when I present this, we can talk about me if you want to. That's fine. I'm a jerk. I'm in this. Okay, I got a list. Trust me, and I've made it myself. But, okay, if you're fighting chemtrails, you focus on that, you do that, but then you start to blame everything that's happening on just chemtrails. And you will argue with the guy that says, well, this is going on as well. And I see that, and neither one of them can comprehend that it's both factors. It's actually more than two, but I'm simplifying to the essence. We have all these factors. Again, Relic, going back to what you said, everything interacts with everything. You can't believe that all these things that are happening, the breakdown in society, the mentality, the disgrace, the earth changes, the sun changes, the this and the that it's all related to chemtrails. I'm sorry, chemtrails exist. They suck for these reasons. They have this effect. What about the rest of the universe? How do you explain that? You know what I mean? But they can't do that. You're right. They kind of lull themselves back to sleep while they're trying to do their part to wake people up. And I see that. They're doing something good, but they're blocking out all the other things and negating it and putting people back to sleep that are just getting started to waking up to all the stuff in general. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
and you know, everybody listening is part of this great machine, and that's why we would, you know, I would encourage, I hope we get a few phone calls, and I'd love to hear other people's points of view and opinions. That's what we're trying to provide is a platform for, you know, just the common folk out there who don't have a voice or don't have a platform to get their opinions out and their points of view. So, is there anybody on the lines, Kevin?
No, there isn't, but let's give them the number in case they've forgotten. It is at the top of the chat rooms. But again, if you're listening somewhere else, and you very well could be, 270-594-4662. Again, the call number, 270-594-4662. Or if you are on Skype, feel free to send a contact request to HBBcall call in, all lowercase, all one word. I'll accept your request immediately, and you can Skype in. Again, that's HBB call in. And if you forget it, it is in the chat room. So if you're not in the chat room, get in there. HumanBeingBroadcasting.net. Main chat today we're using. And you'll notice that all the hosts have their own chat room, but today we're all gathered here in the main chat room. And that's where we'll be placing the links. There's videos, there's other links that are going in there. So come on over if you're on if you're listening in Winamp and interact with the chatters. There's 13 of us in there right now, so there's plenty of people to chat with. You can do that. And you don't have to register Nick. We're using Chat Tango. If you've never been here before, you don't have to register Nick. If you feel like coming back, register Nick. Set up a Chat Tango account so we can start recognizing you, know what your personality is and where you stand on things. That's great. But yeah, madness. Madness. I want to just give a shout out. Everything affects everything, like you said before, and we're honored to have GoKonaCoffee.com as a sponsor, selling that good coffee, and non-corporate entity has just started this business. It's a guy directly from Hawaii. If you're a coffee lover, check that out. And then when I mentioned that, okay, now the Vapor Revolution, who was taking banner space rental, but has just said that irrelevant of that, above and beyond, anybody that does make a purchase through their website because they were here first, they're also going to donate $5 a sale to keep the up cost of, rather than do the monthly $5 a banner thing, they've gone above and beyond. And I'll tell you that they did that for a month. They put a banner on the site, and they got 2 sales, and they donated both times to 2 of my hosts. And so that's awesome. That's awesome. But because, see, it's working. We're working together. And that individual that owns the VaporRevolution.com, Just in Time, is very giving. He's not greedy. He's a single guy. He's not a corporate entity. So we will have some sponsors, some advertisers, but they're going to be human beings. They're not going to be a piece of paper corporation. And they're also not really going to have a say in what goes on here. They will have a piece of the say because they're going to interact with the site, and we're all going to have a say. Within most boundaries, this is for everybody. I'm going to keep people in line, but I haven't had to, Relic. We don't do that here. The call-in and the voice changers and the trolls in the chat room and all this hysteria.
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't do that here, and it's ineffective. Because I debate with the best of you. You become my yo-yo. I don't do that. We don't do that here. We didn't come here for that. And so far, the people that do that and enjoy that, I think they realize that they're not going to have any fun here. They're going to be tormented. So they don't. And you know what I mean? And we're doing the same thing. We're based on truth, but it is a lot of people that proclaim truth get attacked.
I think we got a troll. Is that a Timothy troll?
Yes, this is Timothy's ego with a voice changer. Just had to show you this to you.
Yeah, you had to see, Kevin. See what
our
you did.
First troll, and what a better day on St. Patty Day, you little troll, you. Do you like yo-yos?
Yes, I like yo-yos. I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day from the little leprechaun over here sitting on my pot of gold. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Now, Kevin, when you talk about the Vapor Revolution, you're referring to the e-cigs, right?
Yeah, and you use those, right, Relic?
Tell you what, I'm using, well, I probably shouldn't name any brands, but I'm using a brand that you can get at Walmart. And
you just named the brand, Walmart.
Well, I didn't name the brand of the manufacturer of the cigarette.
But I'm sure you could have got it at the VaporRevolution.com had you known about it.
Sure I could have, but I didn't.
It's not called it's not called an e-cigarette, is it?
Smoker.
Is it an e-cigarette? Is it an e-cigarette? What kind of cigarette?
Huh?
What kind of cigarette? E-cigarette?
Yeah, it's an electronic cigarette. I won't name the brand, but I am now tobacco-free. Completely tobacco-free.
Can I give a hint, like mystified?
Yeah. Sure.
I'm feeling a bit mystic today, right, Relic?
Yeah, it's a little mystic in here. But we can keep talking about. We got plenty to talk about, but I'd really love to hear from our fellow human beings out there.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment too. This is Timothy Paul over here in Michigan, burning up now from global warming. I wanted to talk to people about going out on these websites and believing everything you read on the web. They go to YouTube videos and they believe everything they see on YouTube videos. So they go to the web and they pop up something. They believe everything they see on the web. What I want to tell people is when you read something like that, don't take it as hardcore fact. Question it. Question it. Find out where the sources came from. Ask questions. Google it, whatever you have to do. Look around the perimeter of this source that you just found and find out where it came from. Do the research. Do the footwork. Go out there and find out where this stuff is coming from. Because there's a lot of bad information being spread out here that people are taking as a gospel. And that, folks, is very dangerous. That's what I got.
So Timothy, you're not Adam?
No, I'm Eve.
Oh, all right. Okay, good. All right. Well, when you see Adam, we said hello anyway. Sorry, I had to. Again, I shouldn't have, but I had to.
I know.
Like I said,
Tim was talking a while ago, about the advent of the computer and the internet revolution and this wonderful tool we have. Now, to go back and vet these things 10, 20 years ago, what would you have had to do? You would have had to go to a book, to a library, to microfilm.
Exactly.
How easy can it be?
It can't be any easier.
It can't be any easier.
Right. Always question what you see and read. Always. Just make it a rule to question it. People that go to college they have to list their sources.
Very good point.
So us out here can consider us all college students now because we have the most powerful tool ever invented for mankind. Now it's our job, like Relic says, to vet this stuff, to find out where it comes from. It only takes a few seconds. Turn into Google Kings or whatever. Search Kings. You can do it.
Well, let's go back to the sun. Now, NASA would have us believe that a lot of the problems we're seeing are all the sun did it. It's a solar flare. It's a coronal hole. Ever since I'm just intrigued by the anomaly that we saw on March 12th that we talked about earlier with the magnetopause.
Right.
So I've been spending 4 or 5 days sleep. I haven't been getting any sleep, and I mean that's my own fault. But I'm just that curious of are they telling us the truth? So I'm looking beyond the sun, and I'll be putting out a video soon, and I have released a zip file on the site with 49 megabyte worth of data, raw data, that has a little bit of hard evidence and suggests that we could have objects in deep space that are, for lack of a better term, pissing the sun off. And there may be a connection with 2012. I don't know. But when you think about the way the cosmos works, it's like a very intricate, enormous clock. And it seems like the Mayans may have had it right. The Hopis may have had it right. All these other civilizations, they may have been dead on. This is what they did back then. They didn't have television and other entertainment. They worshiped the sky.
They had a brain. They thought they could think clearly without the corruption of all the trash that we've had put in our minds over the years.
Well, can I throw something in there, Gorilla? Because we kind of touched on this in private Skype, a week ago or something, that maybe even...
Wednesday, digging into Spike's new original series, American Digger.
We dig up America's backyards and split the profits with you.
The series premiere of American Digger, Wednesday at 10, after the Auction Hunters live event on Spike.
I mean, we know the Earth has been wiped out a couple of times, right, by science, or what we call science. And so humans are here that maybe these Mayan, they didn't just perceive that from what they saw in the sky, that a generation before a major earth-changing event, they etched it in stone and left it, and a remnant of them carried on.
Right.
We don't we don't know that, right? I mean, I'm thinking about this one thing that I saw with the pyramids. Now, I know there's a lot we don't understand, but some facing fell off one of the buildings, not on the pyramids, but in one of the buildings, and underneath the facing was etched into the stone. The original structure was images of helicopters, as we know them now, pretty same thing, planes. What you could clearly see would be a rough stone etching of a helicopter or a plane. It wasn't, you didn't have to read into it to see it. But I haven't been to that building to see if that's true either. So I don't know. But if that is true, then that means before, a major Earth event, there was a remnant of people here, and they etched it in stone. And this is a cycle. And again, that goes back to my theory of adding one more axis to the gyroscope, or multiple more accesses. It changes everything.
The thing I find fascinating is all these cultures from ancient times all tell the same story. That's what blows me away. How did they do this? Because they had no means of
oceans.
They had no by thousands of miles of ocean and stuff. How did they do that? That blows me away. How they did that.
Right, and it really is close to. Let me tell you. I mean, in a simplistic fashion. Again, too simple for most people to see, or only a piece of the people to see. It also lines up with the things that are in the Bible. It's a different translation, a different language, but it's basically the same thing.
Right.
So maybe there was a full civilization here before that was polluted with cities, and somebody etched that into the Bible, the written Bible, and knew that we were going to repeat that cycle because they had etchings in paper that they saw from before that event, in a small amount of them. I mean, we're talking so many years. You can't send a message from one human to another across town and have it come out the same.
Exactly.
So how can we think that we're getting exactly all of it in a clear picture in our mind over thousands of years? Or maybe if each of us pick up a piece of it when this event happens, a remnant of us will put the pieces together and remain to start it again. I for one believe there has been civilizations here before we as men have been on this planet, because we have really no concept of time. Right.
I mean, if you stop and think about time, what is time? Who can really explain what time is? It's a man-made name. It's a man-made object. It's a man-made entity.
Right.
This planet, from what we're learning now with our technology, these planets been around for millions of years. So who's to say what was way back when? There could have been super civilizations for all we know. We don't know, because time will erase any remnants of it.
Right, yeah.
Erosion and whatever,
It heals all wounds, right? Didn't we grow up being taught that? Time heals all wounds?
Yep.
And who's to say they didn't develop similar technologies we have today and totally obliterated themselves the way
we're about to?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I think you're right.
And the Galactic Day, the little documentary I made, kind of goes into that, and I think that was also part of the Mayans' message. It wasn't a warning of Planet X or a large planetary or heavy mass object or anything like that. I think they were warning us that things happen in cycles, and it's not just these events in space that we're experiencing right now, but it's things that happen in our culture, in our history. We have a tendency to repeat them, and they were saying, don't make the same mistakes that we made.
Right. Just think of how long have the Mayans been around? Thousands of years? How long have they been on this planet? They had plenty of time to...
At least 2 ages.
Yeah.
At least 2 ages, from my research.
Right. And that's, what the funny thing is when you present this conversation to the quote-unquote Christian, and I'm not attacking anybody, I'm just using an example, they say, no, that's not possible. But how do you know that? Well, because it's in the Bible.
Yeah, but in the same breath too, and time in, I don't want to get biblical, but time in the Lord's eye is a blink of an eye.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. And if you really, I can see reading the Bible. Now, I'm not trying to say the Bible is wrong, but what I'm saying is it's an interpretation of the same thing different cultures said. And we can't, until we leave the physical being, those other civilizations that we know or think we know existed, I think they still do exist in the spiritual realm. Maybe some of them went on to be these Anunnakis that people swear exist. Again, it doesn't end. Time doesn't end. You don't end. There's a different form. Again, maybe I'll be a dog turd next time. That's fine.
To say that one of these ancient civilizations didn't develop the technology to leave this planet a very, very long time ago.
Right. Yeah, nothing new under the sun. The Christians will tell you that. But if you say the Mayans were here before and they etched it down on stone and they left that for us to try to understand, we interpreted it differently than they wrote it down. By writing it down in the Bible, written word on paper, it would be a little... I mean, if you carved something on stone and then you wrote it on paper...
It would look entirely different.
It would be entirely different.
Right.
Exactly. And if you think that, if your belief is, as the Bible states, that God, the creative spirit, is all-knowing, everything, then that means they were, and those stones that they wrote on were as well, a piece of it. And to accomplish his will, you couldn't just put it in one format. You couldn't just write it down. You couldn't just speak it in Hebrew. You would have to put it on stone because some people only carved on stone. They would understand it fully as we're still trying to figure it out. Oh, no, you're wrong, Kevin. That's and then, okay, but you know what? I think we're both partially right, and I think I'm still an asshole sometimes. So how about you get busy with what you've got to do, and I get busy with what I'm supposed to do, and when we poof into dust, maybe you'll be the dog turd next to me, maybe you'll be the raindrop that falls on me, or maybe I'll be the dog turd that falls on gets stuck to your shoe and torments you. I don't know. But in the meantime, get busy. You got things to do.
Talking about Relic's video that he made, Relic, explain how that comes around to what do you call it, the sixth age or something like that? What we're going into?
Yeah, what we're going into is what they call the sixth age. Now, some people think that Noah's flood occurred during it was in the Mayans' fourth age. That was the last great cataclysm. And that was over 5,125 years ago. Well, that's when they started documenting all this and warning us for the next cycle. And so they went through the fifth age. Where they disappeared to, I don't think anybody really knows. But it is now, the next cycle starts. That's what the whole December 21st, 2012 is. It's not an end of the world date. It's the end of one age and the advent of another. And the film kind of, if you look at the way they looked at the galaxy, and the ages that we go through, they divided it the same way we divide our days into morning, afternoon, evening, and twilight. And in the video, I also show how the concept of duality may have arisen from the way that they looked at the heavens. If you kind of look at the way they lay out the ages as the sun goes around the galaxy, the galactic day, it has its own morning, afternoon, evening, and twilight. Well, it's eerily similar to the symbol of yin and yang. If you overlay that on top of their galactic day, it's exactly the same.
That's the part that blew me away when you overlaid that. People must do that. They must see the correlation there. That's amazing.
it just kind of dawned on me that, when I was studying, about the ages, and I've looked into it for a while, but when I made that, I studied deeper than I ever had studied before. And then, when I really got in depth and was, reading about, the mornings, these different cycles over the course of the precession of the equinoxes. But I'm charting this out, and I'm trying to do some animation to illustrate what I'm talking about in the film. And then it occurs to me that this looks a lot like yin and yang, good and evil, day and night, duality.
And many people think right now that we're in a battle of good and evil.
Oh, we are.
I mean, that's really the common belief now, that we're in this great battle between good and evil, which coincides with the story you tell in that video.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not trying to promote it. It's just a different point of view, and
well, I'm trying to promote it because it's a wonderful point of view. I mean, it knocked me back in my chair, like I said. It was something that I never thought about, and I haven't heard anybody out here in the chat room speak about this before. We've kind of beaten around the bush, kind of went around the perimeter a little bit about it with the good and evil war and all this stuff. But getting back to the sixth age that you're talking about, we're moving into a different part of the galaxy. So,
right.
And that could be what's happening with our sun, because we know, maybe not for a fact, but as close to a fact as possible, that our planets and our sun interact with everything that's out there. So we might be coming into...
The gears are lining up just right.
Right, it's like...
And around in that cycle again to where...
Right, it's like a big sprocket with gears and stuff coming around. And our timing marks are coming together. If you ever timed a car, our timing marks are coming together, and we're interacting with other objects in the galaxy that are causing all these strange events to start happening now that we're seeing.
And these are probably very, very strange deep space objects that we have no comprehension of yet.
Exactly, and that goes back to what we was talking about, Kevin, with the balance and everything we talked about in the very beginning of the show, that everything is in balance. Everything, I believe the universe wants to stay in some kind of a balance, because everything, it has to be in harmony to work properly. And when something's out of whack, it'll mess up the whole scheme of things, if you understand where I'm coming from there. If you're getting something that's coming in from somewhere else that don't belong here, almost say like a cancer cell or something that's coming in, everything's going to react to that. So we're going into this new age, like Relic's talking about, into a whole different area of the universe that our solar system is having to rebalance to blend in with everything else that's out there, and everything else that's out there is trying to blend in with us. So we're going to see all kinds of strange things happen, I believe.
Yeah, I do as well. And we have, as soon as I get them into the group here, caller from 417. You'll have to turn your player.
Our solar system is having to rebalance.
417?
One moment, please.
Okay.
Did I get rid of the feedback?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
This is Mo Farmer, and this is my first time on the phone, so I need instructions on what to do if there's anything else.
Sound good, Mo?
Welcome, Mo. Sound good.
Pardon?
You sound great.
Yeah, you sound great, Mo. Go ahead. You have a question or input?
Yeah, I was watching the chat rooms and listening to the conversation, and earlier was touched upon the executive order. And I was curious as to what other options there would be if we have any type of
interruption. Okay. I'm sorry, Mo. I got to interrupt because I'm getting a message on the station's computer that Skype has encountered a problem and needs to close. We are still broadcasting, but that won't be in a second. So I'm going to end the group and call you all back. Mo, stand by your phone, and I will ring you back with the group.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Okay, folks, I'm going to pause the song because with the phone ringing and stuff, I don't want to make a noise mess. But yeah, that was odd, all because we work here with two Skypes. There's two computers going, and so it takes both of those to make the system work. And
Hello?
Hey, Mo, we're back live here. To the listener, sorry, I don't know why Skype decided to close on the one computer, but just before it did, we needed to restart Skype. So here we are. You know, it's the weak link in all this. You know, we've got this awesome site that Tom Gilroy put together. We have servers for the sound that are unlimited. We can have as many listeners as we want. The website is unlisted. We could have 1 million people in the chat room and 1 million people listening in, and we can do that. But we still have to rely on Skype, and it does stuff like this. It's anyway, it doesn't stop us. It might slow us down for a minute, but we're back. We're live, and we can pick up. Mo, you had a question or a thought on all this?
Yes, sir. My question was in regard to the executive order. This was signed in the night last night and was posted this morning in the Planet X Changes in Truth Seekers Research Room. I noted it there, read the executive order, and my question is, what other options are there if there should be an interruption to, say, fuel supplies? Everyone's aware of the conflicts going on in the Gulf region, and if anything should happen, we can't produce food. I am a farmer, and that's, my main concern is keeping food production going. Our food production here is heavily dependent on fuel sources. Any interruption would shut it down. That said, what other options do we have? I don't understand any other option. It's not a good thing. It is limiting our rights, but in the event of such a crisis, what other options are there?
Hey, Mo, can I, this is Timothy Paul. I got a suggestion. You might want to learn how to make your own biodiesel. Do you have any diesel engines?
No, I don't. I use gas, normal gasoline. I just have a couple small tractors. And for me, as a livestock producer, my farming background is predominantly livestock. Other than harvesting hay and feedstuffs for the cattle, we do not use that much fuel here. However, our fertilizer that we put on each spring is totally dependent upon fuel. And, of course, transportation of food products from point A to B and getting the fertilizer here to the farm. Those are real concerns.
They're incredible. They're incredible concerns with a lot of people. Not only you, but I can imagine the larger farms too, because fuel is what makes the world go around right now. And without fuel, we come to a screaming halt. So,
didn't some of the early automobiles run off of alcohol?
Yeah, you can run alcohol.
And
we can, but again, the availability of it. And my question is, do we have other options besides the executive order that was passed this morning should a crisis erupt?
That I really can't speak of. I don't know what other options we have. It sounds to me like just my own thought is that they're planning for something, some event to happen. I don't know much about this new executive order. A lot of us going to research this order and find out what's going on. This is something that came out last night that we want to find out about. I bet it's probably gone viral already. A lot of people want to know what's going on, so when we get information, we're going to pass it on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That is my major concern when any of our individual rights are taken from us unnecessarily. However, in face of crisis, sometimes for the greater good of more people, we sometimes have to make sacrifices. I understand that, as a farmer, we have very limited resources within my own business, and sometimes we have to do things we don't want to just to survive a temporary period. That said, the other question I had, or topic of discussion I'd like to hear more attitudes or viewpoints on, is our basic limited resources and running out of resources in the future. Everything we have here on this planet is finite, and at some point it has to be used up. Why isn't the mainstream media making people aware of this?
I think that they do hide a lot of facts from people, Mo. This is Timothy Paul once again. I think what happens, Mo, is when we really know that we're running out of certain resources, I think that us as Americans and us as people on this planet tend to invent other things to help us get by. Just like we came from the horse and buggy to the automobile, we're ingenious enough to come up with some other form of energy. It takes time, but when push comes to shove, we've always been able to do that with our technology. I believe that'll happen. It won't happen overnight, but it's a slow push, but it will happen. Because if we
and
get...
there is evidence touching on that, Tim and Mo. That there is evidence out there that these technologies already exist.
Oh, they're working on many things, really. I'm sure of that. There's all kinds of technology out there right now. But another thing I want to say real quick about waving the flag, being patriotic. Mo, I guarantee you, when push comes to shove, if all hell breaks loose, you're really going to find out what Americans are all about, because we all come to help each other.
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to jump in just to give a heads up of about a 3-minute ticker here until we roll on the next show and host already. They just confirmed, so we will have to wrap up on time at 5 to honor that schedule.
Good deal.
But last words, important facts. Floor is yours.
Yeah, this is Timothy Pulligan. I'd like to thank you, Kevin, for, like I said, giving us time and opportunity to be on your show here. We really appreciate it. I think we touched on some pretty good topics. We kind of explained what we're all about over at Planet X Research and Truth Seekers Room over there. Once again, our website's www.planetxresearch.com or .org. Go check it out. Find the information on there should be pretty good for everybody. And if you have any comments or anything, you can email us, get a hold of us on Skype, email, whatever. And we appreciate it, Kevin. Good. Relic?
The honor's ours, Timothy Paul. And just a note on that. If anybody forgets the details or mistypes it, just jump to the front page of HumanBeingBroadcasting.net, and you will see down the lower left side of the page a link. It'll be pretty clear that it's Planet X, and you can get to hook up with these guys, and I suggest that you do.
We appreciate that too, Kevin, a lot. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I really appreciate these 2 hours that you've given us, Kevin, and Mike, and all the other people who have supported us. You all know who you are out there, all the diehard researchers. I appreciate all the support, and
we
will be doing a weekly show, by the way. It's coming on.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming on.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even touch on that. We'd kind of talked about it, but that's going to be awesome. And again, we'll get together and rebroadcast some of your stuff you're doing independently. But I think we were kind of thinking that when your schedule smooths out, that you're going to do a regular show over here as well. So that's something that's awesome.
Exactly. We're going to get out to every media outlet we can possibly get to and get the word spread out here. So we appreciate your time and all your effort, and you guys run a real good operation over there. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. And it's amazing that you guys aren't, you're not taking any donations, because there's a cost involved. And I'll tell you, quite honestly, this is a paid-for platform, and today we are asking for donations. But if I were in a position to just give this away free, that's what I'd be doing. And if I get to that point, the fees will go away. But I have to balance both of paying the light bill and making this happen. So in the meantime, but compare us to the other things that are available and see, are we here all about the money? You make that decision. I'm not going to tell you what to think. And I do, just quickly, gentlemen, while you're here with us and before we roll out, I want to give just a general thank you. We've had 3 donations totaling $42.35. Another may have been donation yesterday, a rental of a banner space, but the person did not give a description, location, or a JPEG, so I have emailed them. I'm awaiting response. In the past, some people have chosen that to donate, because normally we don't take donations, so a couple of people have forced it on us. They've rented a banner space and then never gotten back to me with a banner or a description of what they wanted, and obviously I can't put anything in the space, so that thank you to those people, and I'm going to leave that anonymous now, so that the people that donated, there's no possibility of anyone saying that was manipulated to get a free promo with all these listeners here. That's not the idea of the day, and that's not what we stand for. And those people that donated, that wasn't their intent. So for the meantime. But you will find them on our site if you look around. I will say that. And we are grateful, but for this moment, I'll leave them anonymous. And that's awesome. That's a big help. That's already a touch more than 25% of what we need, 25% of the cost to expand the site to get the archives up. So that's awesome. That's a great start. And gentlemen, I'm sorry, we do have to roll. We have a guest. If you like music, unique music, we have the next host is from Romania, Vosto, and the Memory Maker is going to assist him. Be here with him any moment. We're going to hear some new music. So if you don't have work to do and you want to enjoy some new music, please listen in on the website or whatever. Thank you again, all of you. Relic, great job over there. Tell Envy to buy a ring. You know,
I wish Envy could have joined us today, but he had other arrangements.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. I wish he could be here too, because he does give a good perspective on it. I know he's trying to, but we will hear him here again. And Timothy Paul, thank you. Mike, Mo Farmer, awesome to have you on. And we'll see you. Well, I'll pop in and out of Pal Talk, and as soon as your schedule clears and you know when you're broadcasting Ustream, let me know. If we can put it on here, rebroadcast, we will. And as soon as, for the listeners, as soon as the schedule is set for them, the gentlemen that are here now and others to put on a regular show, that'll be on the schedule as well, which is a Google Calendar. You can add it to your calendar if you're a Google user. Gentlemen, thank you.
Okay,
we're going to roll out of here. I'll bet I'm already 2 minutes late.
Okay, man. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
HumanBeingBroadcasting.net.